What is going on, everybody? Dead back here for another reaction video for you guys, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel once again. If you guys have not, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe with the notification bell turned on, man. We are about 52 subscribers at the current time recording this video. We are 52 subscribers away from hitting 1,400, man. I cannot thank you guys enough. Road to 1,400. We should get there, I would have to say, in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We should be able to get to 1,400. I can't thank you guys enough, man. And I couldn't get to this spot in this position, and I couldn't see this growth on the channel if it wasn't for you guys, man. Everybody that joins in my live streams, everybody that comments on my videos, everybody that enjoys my content, enjoys my live streams. It's all thanks to you guys. Today I have a fun video that we're gonna be checking out, man. And I got water in case it gets a little bit too heated in this joint. I got a fun video for this one, man. WrestleMania posted a video 3 days ago, man, and it's 10 fakest moments that exposed WWE. So I'm looking forward to this. You know, everybody knows what pro wrestling is. Everybody knows what WWE is. You know, there's works, there's shoots, there's, you know, it's all one giant work. It's all one giant production. It's not like Randy Orton and Solo Sikoa legitimately want to, you know, kill each other or whatever. They beat each other's ass in the ring, and then they probably go to fucking IHOP, you know, to end the night or whatever. You know, everybody knows what pro wrestling is, or at least they should in 2024. Kayfabe, I don't want to necessarily say it's dead, but I'm gonna take the wording that Maven used. He said it was on life supports. There's certain stars in AEW and WWE that really live their gimmick 24/7. MJF, for instance. You know, that dude is an asshole everywhere he goes. Trust me. I know people that have met him personally. The dude's a fucking prick. So, for people like that, kayfabe is very much alive. So we're going to be checking this out. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this video, man. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And let's check this out, man. 10 fakest moments that exposed WWE. Check this out.
10 of the fakest moments that exposed WWE. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10, WWE Cameraman exposes all. On one of the top matches on the 2015 Payback card saw John Cena take on Rusev.
Really
the match would act as a blow-off to their feud, and the two would wrestle in a brutal I Quit match. While Cena and Rusev did an excellent job in the match.
Am I the only one that finds it shameful that Rusev or Miro, you know, Tony Khan or whatever, has this guy signed to his company, and you see him maybe once every 10 to 11 months? Fucking weird. Where the fuck is Miro, bro? The dude's like just sitting at home writing out his contract. I heard he was in Bulgaria and he got a divorce, so he obviously does have some personal stuff going on. But I'm gonna be selfish in this situation because I want to see him back on TV. So
the same can't be said for the WWE Cameraman, who completely exposed one of the biggest spots in the match. The spot in question saw Cena perform an AA on Rusev on the stage. Obviously, this was done on a crash pad, and the idea behind the spot was that the cameraman wouldn't show that a crash pad was visible behind a section of the staging. In a reckless move, the cameraman shot the crash pad in clear view, so the secret behind the spot was instantly exposed. This would have no doubt caused a bedlam backstage, and Vince McMahon would likely given the cameraman a stern telling off. Number 9, Bronson Reed's selling of nothing. One of Braun Strowman's signature spots as a pro wrestler sees him run around the ring and tackle anyone in sight. When Strowman did this on Raw in June of 2024, Strowman set his eyes on Bronson Reed,
I think
only for Strowman to fail to make any contact with one of the WWE's biggest titans. While Strowman isn't supposed to pull all his weight into the tactical spot, he is supposed to make some contact, so the spot looks at least somewhat real. Unfortunately, this didn't happen, and Reed had to sell a move that made no contact whatsoever. Fans were quick to call out Reed for the botch, yet the blame ultimately fell to Strowman. In relation to Reed, he had no choice in the matter, as it would have been insanely awkward if Reed just stood there and...
Bro, the whole point of pro wrestling is fucking selling, man. You gotta sell to the audience the brutality of what's going on. Maybe Braun Strowman, you know, missed his cue a little bit. And by that, I mean, you know, maybe he was supposed to make contact a couple of seconds before he actually got to him. And Bronson Reed was like, well, you know, Braun Strowman is going to be hitting me at this point. You know, I gotta start selling this move or whatever to make Braun look good. And, you know, everything gets ruined with cell phones nowadays. You know what I mean? If there were no cell phones in the audience, if there was no, like, you know, video recording device of any kind, you know, from the audience, you would have been able to sell, like, oh, you know, baby Braun Strowman, you know, he at least, you know, put some of his shoulder into it or whatever, but it was at a weird angle that you didn't quite see. I don't know. There's things that they could have done. You know what I mean? But the whole point of pro wrestling is fucking selling, man. So I mean, you can't get mad at the guy for selling, even though he was selling to nothing. Trying to make Braun Strowman look like a monster.
And no sold a spot. Number 8, Linda McMahon tries to take a stunner. And Linda McMahon was never a trained performer, so whenever McMahon had to take part in any type of physicality in WWE, it was often unintentionally hilarious. When McMahon was booked to take a Stone Cold Stunner in 2005, McMahon's selling move was so unbelievably funny that even Austin himself couldn't help but smile. The infamous moment took place on the highly anticipated Raw Homecoming show as Austin delivered a trademark stunner to every single member of the McMahon family. And when it came to Linda McMahon, Austin was noticeably careful with how he handled her. Austin made virtually no contact with the move, and McMahon sold the move by falling into the canvas as if she'd just fallen off the couch. Number 7, Chris Jericho misses. One of Chris Jericho's first feud back following his return in 2007 was with JBL. The two embarked in a bitter blood feud, and they would have a pay-per-view showdown at the 2008 Royal Rumble. Their chemistry was awkward and flat, and a major contributing factor was that JBL had been on commentary for an extended period, so both men had a ton of ring rust. The ring rust came to surface when Jericho went for a bulldog on JBL and completely missed his move. In a rare botch from JBL, JBL just...
There's no disputing that, man. Chris Jericho literally grabbed JBL's head, trying to go for a bulldog. I don't know what happened. Maybe there was a miscue. Jericho ended up letting go because JBL was supposed to follow through. And Jericho just starts running towards the ropes, and JBL just falls right on his face. But I mean, things like this happen, bro. Like, yes, like pro wrestling for the most part is choreographed. You know what's gonna happen, you know, move for move or whatever. Sometimes they talk about it in the back. Sometimes they call in the ring if you're really, you know, if you're somebody like Jericho, Steve Austin, The Rock, you know, Triple H or whatever. I'm pretty sure a lot of their matches they did call on the fly just because, you know, how professional they are, and, you know, they've been doing this for a minute. But I mean, I will say, man, imagine being in a 20-minute match or a 15-minute match, whatever, and you having to remember every single move, every single spot, every single, you know, you're supposed to know exactly where your placement's supposed to be at any given time. That must be fucking stressful, bro. I would not be able to handle it, and my hats off to anybody that can. But I mean, you know, this just shows that how real pro wrestling is in a way. You know, not everything is perfect. Not everything goes according to plan, if you know what I mean.
Decided to sell as if Jericho had made contact. The pay-per-view match took place in front of a rabid Madison Square Garden crowd, and of course, the fans ate the two alive. The two managed to continue as if nothing had happened, but it was likely a moment that the two former world champions couldn't easily forget. Number 6, The Undertaker makes zero contact. When The Undertaker vs. John Cena was set for WrestleMania 34, fans were elated. The fact that there hadn't been a WrestleMania match yet was truly baffling, and now fans expected a classic matchup that could redeem the dead man after a rather lackluster match the year prior.
2025.
The match itself ended up being a total squash, and this isn't what anybody wanted. The disappointment extended to Undertaker himself, who had trained for a featured matchup, but it was Vince McMahon who believed that the match should have been an outright squash. Outside of the length of the match, one of the talking points of the match itself was a huge botch from both men. The botch occurred when The Undertaker went for a big boot, and it clearly missed Cena by a good mile. Cena obviously sold the move and the match continued on, but due to the quick pacing of the match, both men likely hoped that nobody noticed, but sadly...
Bro, not gonna lie, I would have done the same thing, man. You see this big motherfucker with his foot out and you fucking, you know, going to kick you in the face. But I mean, although I understand the argument, it's John Cena and The Undertaker, two legends and two gigantuan legends in this business. You know, they should be a little bit more professional. They should know how to do certain things more than other people. So I definitely understand the argument. I'm just saying, for me, from my advantage point, I see this motherfucker going to kick me in the face, bro. I'll make sure I fly out of the ring. No contact needs to be made, man. I like my nose where it is.
It was far too obvious to ignore. Number 5, the Black Mass Botch.
Oh, the Black Mass Botch,
NXT is often mid-labeled as WWE's developmental brand, the in-ring product has sometimes vastly overshadowed anything on the main roster. This is mainly thanks to WWE signing top independent talent for the roster and having them mix it up with young upcoming stars that WWE have manufactured in the Performance Center. The idea behind the feud between NXT champion Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan was to put Sullivan in there with a seasoned pro and hopefully elevate him to the next level. The two would face off at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, and for the most part, Lars did a great job in the match. Unfortunately, towards the end of the match, the title showdown seemed
Lars
to fall
Sullivan was
apart.
weird,
Black
bruh.
went for his trademark finisher, the Black Mass, and it completely missed, but Lars, for some reason, sold it anyway. I wouldn't be drastic to say that this one botch ruined the entire matchup, as it drew all attention away from the positives of the match, as all anyone could focus on was the major botch.
Bryce
Number
Green
4,
shirt
Big Show
guy.
takes an RKO. The RKO is arguably one of the most famous finishing moves of all time, and one of the great things about the popular move
RKO
is that
out of
it's
nowhere.
incredibly easy for wrestlers to take it. The move requires a simple front face bump, meaning that Orton can perform the move on anyone with ease. However, one RKO that Orton no doubt wishes to erase from his memory took place during a match against Big Show on the February 13th, 2012 edition of Raw. In the match between the two wrestling greats, Orton went for an RKO on Big Show, and just as Orton was about to get a hold of Show's head to deliver the move, Show took the bump for the move prematurely. It was an awkward visual, and Big Show, who always prides himself on delivering a stellar performance, was probably beating himself up backstage. Number 3, Natalya pulls her hand away. The hot tag is one of the most exciting parts of a tag team match, and for it to work, all wrestlers in the match must have their wits about them and must ensure that they time their planned spot correctly. When Natalya teamed with Charlotte Flair to take on the Kabuki Warriors on Raw in 2019, Natalya had no choice but to go off script due to Kairi Sane missing a cue. Due to Sane missing a cue, Natalya had no choice but to retract her hand backwards whilst waiting for a tag from Flair, and this was so blatantly obvious to the viewer. In defense of Natalya, she had little choice. If Natalya had tagged in, the entire hope spot that was scripted for the match would have been messed up, so it probably was in her best interest to act in a manner that she did. But with that being said, it would have been much better if the camera didn't show her retracting a hand in clear view. Number 2, The Undertaker is seen shoveling. The Buried Alive match between The Undertaker
That's what I'm saying, bro. Pro wrestling is a scripted sport. It's entertainment. It's one of the hardest sports I feel like to get into, the physicality of it all, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, all the competitors inside the ring are putting on a show. They're putting on a show. They're telling a story. And I feel like, I don't know from you guys, about you guys, but me, I'm more invested in the story and what's going on and like the plans or whatever. Like that's really what excites. It's not about matches. It's not about in-ring stuff. I'm invested in the story. Like, you know, where's the story going to lead? It just, that's what makes me want to tune in every week. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily mind botches here and there, as long as they're not like consistent. As long as they're not like botches or whatever that happen every week or every other week or whatever. Like, you know, if they're spread apart, like just because it adds some level of realism to it. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, it's planned or whatever. But like, you know when certain things are supposed to happen, when there's certain things are not supposed to happen.
Vince McMahon in 2003 was designed to write the American Badass off television. The dead man was going to spend a considerable amount of time off TV, and this would allow him to rest, heal nagging injuries, and grow his hair out ahead of the return of his dead man persona. The match between The Undertaker and McMahon was a one-sided affair, but that was until the dastardly Kane interfered. Kane would assist McMahon and would allow McMahon to upset The Undertaker in one of the most shocking moments of the Ruthless Aggression era. Whilst all three men played their part well, WWE's production team failed in their role to hide the secrets of the Buried Alive match type. Towards the end of the match, it was clear, thanks to WWE literally showing it on screen, that The Undertaker was using a shovel in the grave to access the trap door. A couple of camera shots after this, the camera once again panned to the grave, and this time The Undertaker was selling, but the shovel had mysteriously gone missing. This completely exposed one of WWE's most well-known gimmick matches, and it was all down to incompetent camera work. And number 1, Whisper in the Wind.
I will say, that's not necessarily that noticeable. Well, at least from the vantage point or whatever that we saw in this video. You know, like you saw him shoveling or whatever, but it like it's not like, you know, the camera was on him for like 2 minutes while he shoveled. Like it was a very quick thing. So I would have never seen that if it wasn't for this video. So I guess thank you, WrestleMania. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say this should be on the list because I highly doubt anybody really noticed it until this video. So
literally, the greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which took place
Saudi
in Saudi Arabia, featured a botch that made
Arabia.
WWE look like a cheap independent show. In a lackluster US title match featuring champion Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal, Hardy went for the Whisper in the Wind, but sadly the move didn't connect at all and Hardy landed about 2 feet away from Mahal. The botch was made even worse by the fact that Mahal decided to take a comedic bump and sell the move despite the move clearly not even connecting. It was abysmal work from Mahal, and in a moment of sheer panic, Hardy decided the best thing to do in the moment was to attempt a cover, which was probably the most sensible course of action. But there you have it, folks.
Most sensible course of action,
man. Moments that exposed WWE.
I mean, the last two, I'm not, you know, I wouldn't really necessarily consider something that should be on this list or whatever. I mean, I maybe the Jinder Mahal and Jeff Hardy spot, but definitely not the Undertaker, you know, using the shovel or whatever during that Buried Alive match. I highly doubt anybody really even noticed that at the time. A lot of people probably notice now because of this video and because of my video, whatever. But I mean, wrestling is all a part of a show, man. So, you know, it comes with the territory, I suppose. So, you know, can't really hate on it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys so much checking out another video. If you guys have not, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. It definitely helps out in the algorithm. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys on my live stream, man. Peace.
The clouds have been gathering. You may feel hopeless, but I'll never let you